Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly patron today, because today we are carrying on our war story in our ongoing Rogue Trader campaign, which we are playing with other members of the illustrious Aquare household. But rather than Rogue Trader, or the Wrath and Glory game that we used recently, we are using Imperium Maledictum to run this adventure. And with me tonight are the stars of the Rogue Trader campaign. I'll go and of course this war story, which we're calling Lonely is the Hunter. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing tonight? First up, or this morning in the James's case. First up, we've got James.
Hi, I'm James, and I'm playing Octavia Aquare. So a sub-factotum or something like that of the Aquari family on, and, well, there we are. That's me.
And on football. Nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing the loyal and heavily armored and weaponed up armsman Noros.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is Sean.
I am playing Icarus, the Emperor's sanctioned psyker.
Very nice. Then Sean has been on a sojourn the last month, so he's missed the last couple of sessions of this. But what happened in his absence, guys? Let me bring you over to our map of Footfall. And I may have some other, visual aids to assist with this, so... What happened last time, guys? Or the last couple of times, I guess.
I can say where I fit. I remember we had a meeting with the woman whose name is Jerry.
Jerry Blitz.
Lord Captain Jerry Blitz. Yeah. And we went to like a casino bar that she was a big hustler in, or at least very skilled, something along those lines.
That was in the Adeptus Masochus.
Yes. And Noros kept his distance because we'd been followed, and so he was doing counter surveil on our surveillance.
Ooh, yes. And that is when...
Yes. And so we had a we did have a conversation with Lord Captain Blitz while Noros kept a watch. So did Icarus on a close-up basis, and had some good communication there. And then when we left, we had an encounter with that surveillance. I'm trying to remember the
Astral
details
Knife,
exactly. Astral Knife. I can't quite remember how that encounter went down.
Do you guys recall?
Yeah, they informed us that they had completed the sacrifice required for the safe return of the... What's the name of your ship? The Morbus Probati?
Oh, Morbus Probati.
Yep.
Yes.
Aquatic.
Yes, that's what...
So yes, there was a murder to ensure the safe return. Well, at least one murder to ensure the safe return of the Mortis Probati. And what happened next? Well, let me ask you this, Sean. Do you remember what you were tasked with by Octavia? Ooh, where's my notes?
Well, there was a Gene Stealer cult issue.
Correct.
Yep. And so we were looking for, I believe we were looking for indications that it existed on Footfall. We were looking for clues as to try to, hopefully it's not there, but we were suspicious that it was. Yeah. And we were trying to get clues to track that down. That's what I remember.
Yeah, and there was also a larger, more self-interested reason for doing so as well, if you may recall, and it happens to involve the speedy return of House Fell from its interaction with your Lord Captain. and the more leisurely return of the Mortis Probati. By uncovering such a threat here, that would raise the profile of House Aquare here, and hopefully provide some protection if Lord Captain Hadrock Fell comes back and decides to enact any kind of payback for whatever may have been done to him by your Lord Captain. Mm-hmm. That also plays into the history. It's also a thematic way, because you may recall one of the house's ancestors, whose name escapes me. Where is it here? His name is Cobras Aquare, the Inquisitor, Lord, and Rogue Trader. One of the early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
600 years ago.
Yes. So I believe where we left was Icarus had actually uncovered. You guys were at the Alpha Row docks, and you had uncovered a Xenos mind there.
Oh, that's coming back to me. That's like the last thing. Yeah, where
that was the last thing you did, and then what did you guys do next?
Well, we killed the Gene Stealer, whatever you called them.
Yeah,
he's not
hybrid?
a full Gene Stealer, the hybrid.
Yeah.
And some people spotted us, and so Octavia was able to convince them to sort of become I don't know what you call them, workers in our Aquare household. And so we hired them a little bit of muscle, and also so that they wouldn't attack us for what we found on there, which was quite a bit of coin on this Gene Stealer. We think they might have been arranging to get off planet.
Yeah.
They were somehow involved with the gang, and I'm trying to remember the name of...
The Black Brotherhood.
Black Brotherhood, that's it.
Yeah.
Here is the... Kalis Kalinicus is the head of the Black Brotherhood, Icarus.
Yeah.
So we tried to go and look for them, and got ambushed by some other gang members, the Night Bleeders, who we drove off.
Did you go... I think they happened. The Night Bleeders attacked you when you were going back to talk to Lord Captain Jerry once again.
Right. Okay. But and then we drove them off.
Yeah.
And then we spoke to Jerry Blitz, and she put us. Well, we went and recuperated a bit, and then we went and spoke to her, and to try and find out why the Dark Brotherhood were protecting or involved with these Xenos scum. So she put us in contact with looking at Vladame Tokara.
Mm-hmm. The head of the Kazbalika, the criminal organization which has a hand in all of the cold trade, the smuggling of Xenos artifacts from within the Coronis Expanse out to the Calixus sector and out to the rest of the Imperium. The Empire, I guess. No, Imperium would go too. It's not the name of the game. Right.
So we were curious, we had a conversation with him, and the long and the short of it was that he obviously reached out to the Dark Brotherhood and explained the conundrum we had, that we didn't believe the Dark Brotherhood would actually be consciously protecting the Gene Stealers. But they somehow seemed to be involved, and basically they offered up a gang leader who seemed to have gone rogue.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Night Bleeders also seem to be a client gang for the Black Brotherhood as well. And the one who seemed to be the main contact there was, I believe, a guy named Barbosa.
Yeah, that's the last name I had written down.
Yeah.
Barbosa's a Night Bleeder?
Barbosa is a Black Brotherhood who is the liaison with the Night Bleeders.
Okay.
So we went in with some of our armsmen and obliterated the place. And we got hold of Barbosa and hauled him off while fending off Night Bleeders as we went.
Yep.
And we took him back to our warehouse where we interrogated him.
Yeah, I believe that Noros rolled a crit on his, what do you call it? His
Weber.
Weber.
Oh yes, that's right. We had a Weber to capture him.
Yeah, the capturing went incredibly smoothly. Let's just say that.
Yep, 0 casualties among the Aquare people, and in fact, you're going to be able to keep the squad for an additional scene on account of how well that they did. The guys called in some influence in order to draw on the favors of House Aquare.
And there were lots of casualties on the other side, though.
There was a lot. And that's the second time there's been a lot of casualties. It was a gang of about 12 that attacked the two of the guys when they were making their way through. Let me phrase that. They didn't attack. I think you guys noticed that you were being followed. You guys instigated. They responded. But you came out the victor.
Yeah. We kind of noticed there was no getting away from them. So we're like, all right, let's fight them. And we took them out. And then, yeah. So we've kind of been causing a bit of mayhem and death around on Footfall.
So
We saw the superiority stat.
Superiority really helped out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Barbosa told us that the base of the Gene Stealer cult was within the statue of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Noros shot him.
Yeah.
Who shot him?
Norris, Jeff.
Our very own.
Executed the prisoner.
Yeah. Well, we knew he was infected, didn't we?
Yeah.
I believe
clearly turning.
He was clearly infected, so we kind of had no choice.
Yeah.
Put him down.
Do not suffer the alien to live.
Yeah.
He was infected.
Noros put him to sleep.
Yeah.
With a gun.
Yep. I mean, he was a giant, terrifying, roided out, drugged out nihilist who may have been infected with alien DNA. So,
yeah.
The Emperor's justice.
Yep.
The Emperor's justice.
Most definitely.
And we had the blessing of the Casbolica in doing so. So we felt pretty safe to act against this little arm of the little piece of their business on Footfall.
Yeah, and it's one of the things we talked about before, Sean. This, I'm sure you're drawing the conclusion as well, but if your business is the smuggling of Xenos artifacts through this juncture and then out through the Maw and out into the Calixtus sector, this is probably the last place you want the Inquisition to be showing up and snooping around. So it seemed in everybody's interest to see this thing eliminated and prevent any need for any attention from the Ordo Xenos or the Death Watch, for that matter. Although Death Watch coming and just fucking laying down is going to make James very happy. The player character is probably less so. So then, anything else that we missed?
Oh, did you mention where the nest was? I know.
The base of the statue.
Oh, yeah, the statue.
Another base. That entire statue drifts. You can see it in the photo, the illustration here. It is a free-floating structure, and it has apparently service tunnels that run through the whole darn thing. It's just that no one uses it.
Yeah.
So, but
it's giant. It's kind of iconic, I assume, for Footfall. This giant statue of the Emperor.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
and they're in there.
Yeah, so that is... Sean, have you any questions, or does Icarus have any questions, having been brought up to speed on what has happened thus far?
So at this point, our next obvious step is to investigate the nest, I guess. Is that correct? Do we have other tasks?
No, that's it.
Okay.
You got it.
Investigate is an unusual is a diplomatic term for it.
It's a gentle term.
You would say that. I might say assault.
Assault, yeah. And then what are our troops look like at this point? How many do we have?
I think you have 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah, you had 10 last time, and the troops look a lot like... I should have loaded this image since last time, but where is it here? They are armed with, I believe, with a las gun.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Trusty las guns.
Here we go. Check. This is pretty
Well,
great.
they had shotguns last time.
Oh, did they
yeah,
shotguns?
combat shotguns. Right. Yeah, because they have that awesome
they did
knockdown.
pretty damage with them.
Yeah, combat shotgun, las pistol, and masters of close confines. +1 success level to all range attacks when the target's in close range.
Oh, so that's what helped with the fact that we blew people away inside.
Oh
rooms.
yeah, it also has the inflict prone. So if they take damage from it, they're knocked prone by the shotgun.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty awesome. All right then, guys. You are currently in the atrium with at the. Oh no, you're at your warehouse, aren't you?
Yeah, we're at our warehouse location.
Right. In the shadow quarters.
We have a warehouse. What do we have?
A warehouse with so the house guard are loners. Those are things that you've called in your influence with the house in order to favor, and because of the success of your last mission, you've got an extension for use of these 10 guys. Once again, we were looking last time at the influence rules. I got cheat sheets, incidentally, Sean, since last time for combat actions. Nice. And for fate points, and for the status of your influence.
Oh.
Yes, House Fell -2, Night Bleeders -2.
Yep.
So, then, what do you guys intend on doing next? So your warehouse, I think we've described as a it's just off of Void Dock Alpha Row. It is relatively fortified, and you've got this command crew that Octavia has not press gang, but like retained. So basically she has regular hired thugs in addition to the house guards that you currently have under your control. You also have that Xenos body that is nearby, and now you have the body of a, I guess, headless Black Brother.
Yeah.
What are you guys
It's a lot
doing
of
next?
bodies, isn't it?
I greet everyone. I'm back.
Excellent. We're gonna need your help.
Your activities sound interesting.
Yes. We are about to make an assault that...
So that's a good point. There is no direct route. The Emperor's statue, it hangs free in space. There are chains that are clung to it. But you will need to go through a shuttle or a cutter of some kind in order to reach there. Or, you could technically try and just, get a void suits on and then try and make your way over there and get in. But it is miles of twisting tunnels within there to service this thing.
How high off the ground is it?
Sorry?
How high is it? Is it in...
I can tell you. Ooh.
It's Warhammer. It's colossal.
Yeah, it's Warhammer. Warhammer tells Star Wars, hold my beer.
Right.
And let's see here. Footfall. I want to say it's like a mile tall, but I don't know if that is.
It's like a mile of chain as it to keep it.
It's these massive chains that hold all the things to prevent them from drifting apart. Let me go. Footfall.
I mean, you can see a ship flying by it. If that picture has any scale to it.
Is that just that can't be? That can't be right scale though.
It's probably not a far out because remember those has 20,000 people.
Right, those ships are enormous. So.
Yeah,
it's like a skyscraper flying by.
So
holy.
The macro statue of the God Emperor. The stern visage of the God Emperor watches over Footfall. His vast statue floats at the very center of the community, close to the size of the greatest vessel of the battle fleet Calixis, linked to 20 structures by massive void steel chains. The statue and its plinth are hollowed by chambers, but no one dares dwell within. The macro statue is a point of pilgrimage for the faithful who yearn to see the God Emperor stare out across unclaimed voids that will one day be his. So, greatest vessel of Battlefleet Calixis. I do have my copy of Rogue Trader with me.
Oh.
So let's take a look at what a battle ship would have.
Yeah.
And I don't have Battlefleet Coronis with me right now. Let's see. The sourcebook that has more stuff on these ships. Because it might have bigger ships in there, but I think we're already talking very, very, very large. But don't worry. It's not like it's a hideous, creature used to dwelling in the confines of a space Hulk.
Right.
In fact, an intrepid patron may, be inclined to steal Space Hulk rules from other RPGs, like Deathwatch and Wrath and Glory, and repurpose them for just such an occasion.
Indeed.
Does sound like a good idea. Fun, too.
Oh, man.
This is where
you guys thought our journey back on the Morbus Probati was going to take a long time. It'd take us a long time to search this statue.
Yeah.
Depending on how many are left behind. One of the upsides is there will not be much, and if you do have an Auspex scanner, that will definitely help you.
Right.
All right. So, those are sample rogue vessels. A space station has 100,000 inhabitants and 5 kilometers in diameter.
So I'm looking at a battle cruiser from Battlefleet Coronis, 5.4 kilometers long.
So that's a fair bit of that is about 3.5, a little more miles long for those who think in Imperial. So that is the task.
Wow, that is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
And a mile, you say, Kevin, probably ish.
No, this thing is likely, if it's the size of a battle cruiser, and battle cruisers are 5 kilometers long, that's about 3.7 miles.
But it's like bottom. Its feet will be
Bottom
off
to
the
top.
ground. But off the ground, it'll be.
Remember, it's in space, right? So
It's in space. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for
Footfall is a bunch of collected asteroids and stuff like that. All 20 of the largest ones are lashed to the macro statue.
Got it. Okay.
If you guys think I'm not going to say macro statue about 30 more times today, you're very mistaken. That is a really fun fucking word to say.
Well, we may even pander and just give you like softball pitches for it. See if we can get you.
Any more questions about the macro statue? Anything particulars of the macro statue?
I'm a fanboy, but I just do love the fact that you reach for it's a mile tall, and then you're no, that's far too small.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's probably wrong. Nope, it's almost 4 miles tall.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Well,
Yeah, we definitely need like a shuttle or something to get over there.
You also may be able to call on other allies. This is what we talked about this last time quite a bit. But one of the things that makes this game really interesting is the influence mechanic of being able to call in those favors. So as you gain influence with other places, not only can you call in favors from them, but you also may be able to curry more favor with them by sharing, finding shared interests or shared tasks that you can work towards.
Yep.
I mention that because you do have at least one contact who have some pretty extraordinary space vessels,
Jerry?
or at least access to them.
Oh,
Jerry, the rogue trader.
Jerry does, but Jerry has one ship.
Aquade?
You guys have one ship. It is about 2/3 of a year out from here.
Right.
Housefell?
Unlikely to get assistance from them. You could try, though. Hope springs eternal. What am I talking about? This is the grim darkness of the far future. There is no hope.
No hope.
are you talking about the Casbolica?
Nope.
But the Twilight Swords, I'm going mental, but I'm trying to remember who they are.
Eldar Corsairs.
Oh. Yes.
I mean, space elf pirates may not be the first person you're going to want to look for, but you definitely have, to the point where you have a good, or at least a unusually friendly relationship with them. In particular, because there is one that seems to be accompanying your cousin, Ignatius. Ignatius Aquare has seemingly made an ally of one of the Twilight Swords while clearing out the Hephaestium's Rest.
Right, now I remember that. That was Dave's character.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was a great session. Dave it seemed like he really needed I'm going to shoot someone with a shuriken gun session, and he got lots of opportunities to do that. So there is that. But I mean, you can also, you guys would be able to call on a shuttle and make your way over there. Like you certainly have that. You will also probably want to get some hands on void suits, because you do not have them on your character sheets.
Right.
So we do need to do more shopping.
Yeah, a bit of shopping, and I don't know, do we need to have more information about this statue? Like, I don't know if some plans exist somewhere that we
could try.
Worth a thought.
I like that.
So we know if like the main location's in the head, or what a little bit of the schematic of the tunnels would be helpful.
Yeah. Anything we could get would be helpful. We don't even know where to land.
Yeah.
Right. There's no visible landing pad, is there, Kevin?
There would be hundreds of docking points across the surface of that thing.
So was it ever used, or was it just sort of built and then left?
It was intended to be a place of like pilgrimage and whatnot, and maybe some people do make use of it for that, but it is not a very popular thing, and no one lives within it.
Right.
So whatever, obviously it is a crazed operation that someone undertook to build this thing. There's not, like, one of the things, there's not a really big ecclesiarchy presence here either. So it's not as if like there are the extent of the ecclesiarchy presence largely is at Hephaestium's Rest. There are devotees of Saint Drusus who are here, the patron saint of the Coronis Expanse. Patron saint of the Calexis sector. And there are other, like the Astral Knives technically are a heretical sect as well. But there isn't really a large presence of people who were going to go and make use of the thing, which, if it wasn't just so blasphemous that pirates and whatnot would probably love to make use of that place. It's only Xenos scum who would have the temerity and be as
bold.
Yeah, well, as blasphemous, to be honest, and to fly in the face of the dictates of the God Emperor and make use of the place as a hive.
Okay.
Indeed.
Jeff has a question. You guys, he's always called the God Emperor. So is there like a whole religion based around this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what? Okay, that's
A big one.
Yep.
Yeah.
10,000 years ago, the end came to his great crusade to try and establish an entire galaxy free from ignorance, free from religion, free from superstition. He wanted to establish a atheistic galaxy, and when he died, he was attached to a golden throne, a giant alien technology apparatus that keeps his corpse seemingly alive, and now is venerated as a god king. So he is a phenomenally powerful psyker, one of the most powerful beings that exists in that universe. So if you were to say something was godlike, you would not be wrong, but it is the height of irony that the guy who his very purpose was to eliminate superstition, in part because superstition gives rise to the powerful things in the warp, in the Imperium. And instead of eliminating it, he became the head of one of the most, maniacal and most, devoted and fractious as well. Those who fall to chaos, there's some who are like, wahaha, I'm going to be evil chaos. And there are others who are just like tempted just enough to believe in slightly different doctrine and believe that other people are the heretics.
Okay, and to be clear, is he alive or dead?
Yes.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, okay.
The
Anything
God
else
Emperor
is heretical.
is lashed to the golden throne. Which is a giant robotic, or apparatus that he's in that also serves as the psychic beacon for everyone traveling. The Astro-Telepathica and the Navigators function because of how powerful the signal to the Emperor is.
Through the Astronomicon.
Yep. And the way that they keep that thing going is because there are things called black ships that regularly deliver thousands of psychers per day who are fed to the Emperor, psychically speaking.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, this gets better the more you learn about the 40K universe.
Yeah.
Better.
I think there's a whole continent on Earth that this Astronomicon covers. Like an entire continent is this antenna into space.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That he blasts his psychic beacon through.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Apart from that, it's a very positive sort of.
It's a very positive place.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm not sure there are any. I'm not sure there are any atheists. At least professed atheists within the Imperium.
Well, that's one funny thing I was just reading. The Space Marines don't view him as a god.
Some of them do, for sure.
Well, broadly, because his blood runs in their veins, and they are children of.
Yeah.
So they're not divine. They just think he's, and that's what the conflict between the ecclesiarchy and the Space Marines.
I don't know, that's because the Black Templars are all fanatical zealots. They all believe in the divinity of the God Emperor. Ditto for the Dark Angels, right? Like their whole thing was cutting out the heresy on their home planet because of the allegiance with chaos. So I think it depends on the things like.
It can be, but that's in the Wrath and Glory because it talks about how the conflict between the Space Marines and the.
That also could be contemporaneous with the return of what's his name, Rupert Gilliman, because he did not. The Ultramarines were not quite as devoted, and when he came back and found what they were doing, the person we're talking about, Jeff, is one of the Space Marine chapters were basically founded by demigods that were created in a lab by the Emperor with in part his blood and in part other human things, and then due to sabotage and also in part due to sabotage basically they all vanished and appeared elsewhere, and then when he did his Great Crusade, he would find them on these different planets where they had developed on their own into kind of like demigods.
Yeah.
They knew that some of them knew the Emperor to varying degrees, depending on when they came into contact him and where they were in the Crusade. But one of the ones that did and understood what he was doing and what he, that he wasn't trying to create a galaxy-wide religion, he went missing, and then he has recently reappeared in it. And when you're gone for 10,000 years and you come back and find that you're doing the exact opposite of what this guy intended, you can reasonably be, thinking like, what the fuck are you doing? But things were so far gone, he couldn't really upset the apple cart.
Right.
So it could be I actually don't know what it is for sure, but that might be, James, because the Primaris Marines are a thing in the Wrath and Glory. It's from the contemporaneous era for it, and it may very well be that they are they recognize that, okay, this is not he's not a god, guys. I mean, he has all the intents and power, intents and purposes. He has the powers of them. But anyway, so that's more 40k lore than probably you asked to learn about, but that is the world that we're playing in.
Right. I just wanted to, and that's what the statue is the God King.
The God Emperor.
Or the God Emperor.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Emperor of Mankind.
Right.
So there are places that the place where people would go to worship is probably the most easily accessible place. But can you think of any things that to narrow the search down that you might find by doing a search of this place or a scan of this place?
Life signs.
Life signs would be tricky within because it's all stone as well.
Yeah. Psychic phenomena.
That might help. But no, that would largely just give you the presence of it or the absence of it. But you could probably hunt them that way. It does work to your advantage. You've got your Psyker with you, and you have those things are inherently psychic. The Gene Stealers, you may remember, are, even when there's a small collection of them, there's still a psychic bond between them, a hive mind that grows to become a signal for the Tyranid fleets to follow.
Are we aware of any activity, any approved activity around the statue? Like, does anyone normally? Oh, so just the faithful. So the faithful are there. Is that right? They
but
go there.
Even then, there's so few of them that it's not really. It generally just serves as a center point for the for all of Footfall.
So pilgrims are few. They're there, but they're few.
They're there, but they're few. Yeah, because there's just not.
You're
coming to the Kronos Expanse. There's plenty of other giant statues of the Emperor to go elsewhere, and the Kronos Expanse does not have the history of domination or history of settlement the way that certain other places might. And it's not the place you would just jaunt over to give your daily or weekly prayers. It is a specific pilgrimage because it is a special place, which means that effectively nobody goes there, which is why it's an ideal place for the Xenos scum to hide.
For heresy.
So you got psychic stuff, potentially life signs. Anything else you can think of?
That's a good idea.
Fortunately, you don't have access, or at least you don't have the powerful aspect sensors of a ship, and you certainly don't have access to those at the what do you call it in your home base.
I don't know. For a little bit of assistance here, maybe the Lord Captain Jerry would be able to assist us a little. It's possible. I don't know about whether it's dropping us off, whether it's some kind of ship sensors and see what it looks like.
Using her ship to transport you over there would be akin to taking a jumbo jet to the corner store.
Well, she might have a shuttle. We could ask her if she has.
You guys have a shuttle, like I said. You guys would have access to that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Gotcha.
Yeah, let's just use that. Use the house equipment.
And I don't know if her ship sensors giving her one shot at it. You know, I don't know. We don't have to have high expectations. Do we think that's worth it to let her take a crack at it and see what she gets with her ship, with a scan?
Ooh.
Aspects.
Jerry's ship.
Yeah.
Is the Ordained Destiny.
Ordained Destiny. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think she could, if you want to call in a favor with her, she seems to want to be friends with you guys, so she'll certainly bank a favor with you guys in future.
Right. I mean, a lot of it comes down to who do we want to owe, right? If we're going to call in a favor, because... Or they have to have aligned interest in eliminating this threat.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Jerry really cares. She'll just fly to another part of the galaxy and gamble there instead. But we can
What were you
try.
going to say, James?
No, I was just saying that, you know, obviously the gene stealers become rather everybody's problem.
Yeah.
Because they're the end of all things, ultimately.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I mean, maybe not in your lifetime. If you're just, you know, depends what your ambitions are and how much you care about the whole universe.
Don't you care?
Yeah. Some people might not, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
Noros cares.
Noros cares.
I'm just reading what the Auspex and Augurs can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on your talk, so I'm just that's what my head's down for. I am listening to you guys.
So have a ship scan. We have a shuttle. We
need void suits.
We could. Did you guys say you just armed up? You got some better armament?
Yeah, if you wanted to get some more like that is something we could do as well.
That's not out of the question.
If you don't feel armed enough, because this is going to be dangerous.
I basically have a house weapon. You know, I have basically a sidearm is what I have. So but I wouldn't expect to be necessarily heavily armed, but I just have a pistol. So maybe something more than that wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I think that as well. Maybe I need a las gun or something.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Right. Las gun or one of those combat shotguns or...
Those were working really well, for the record.
What skill would that be? That would be...
Ranged.
Ranged.
Yeah.
The range is okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you're more, I think, likely to rely on your psychic abilities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's good to have something. Yeah, I mean, So I don't expect to be crazy, but I mean, more than a pistol.
Well, don't you have more than one arm?
Yeah, and you also have, remember, like,
that's true.
You need a one hand to carry that psi-focus that you've got.
That's true. Yeah, maybe not. Well, and then it just comes down to whether I want to upgrade my pistol by chance, but it's not, whatever. It's not a crickle. I'm just throwing things out there because we're talking about planning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Let's see.
Let's take a look at void suits then.
Yeah.
And see what that'll...
Maybe
research
on the statue. It's not crazy, you know, to go in and do a little library use in the...
Ooh, so then if the... do you think there is a time element to this?
Yeah, we should get moving fairly quickly, I guess.
Well, the reason I ask is if they're a hive mind and you blew the head off of something that may have been connected to them or infected by them, you don't know the degree to which there is a connection, and the degree to which they're connected is reliant on a powerful. You guys from previous roles, you guys would know this. It's reliant on a powerful psychic mutant, mutant and Xenos called a Magus. The central point of their cult and of the growing psychic circuit. So depending on how powerful and how many there are in there, they may be aware that what's his name is dead, or they may not.
Right.
Void suits. Void suits allow you to ignore the vacuum and airborne pathogens through an integral rebreather system that lasts for 10 hours. Recharging the air supply takes 3 hours while the suit's in a normal atmosphere, or by replacing the oxygen canister as an action. Each canister costs 30 solars and are 1 encumbrance each. The Void Suit also contains micro thrusters and mag boots that allow you to navigate in zero gravity with relative ease. In addition, they are armored, granting 2 AP to all locations, and are typically encumbrance 4 when worn. The cost of the Void Suits is, they are 22,000 and they are scarce.
Oh no.
So
we won't have one of them then.
Well, no, it is a chance, because remember, you guys can call in you can affect the cost or the likelihood of finding them in order to increase the chances of finding them. You also can call in certain favors to try and increase the chances. And you can bargaining.
But we don't have anything like 6,000.
What do you guys have right now?
Grand. We've got about 2,000. Let me see.
Oh yeah, I have like nothing.
I have 500 is what I show.
Is there anything on the House of Quarry sheet? No.
We've got
nothing.
the 2,250 party stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and I have 400.
I have 500.
So this is something where you may be able to call in a favor from Jerry. You have already tapped out your resources with the house, but Jerry, if you can't afford it, she may have some loaners for you from her ship.
Okay, yeah. So we could ask if we could borrow us.
Okay.
That might be worth it, yeah.
So then, Jerry, let's see the favors table here. You know what? I've got it in. I got my GM screen out. Let's take a look. Okay. Lending of certain equipment and personnel is a +2 level of influence. What are you with?
+1.
Jerry Bliss. Ooh. So, I think if you're promising a level 1 favor in return, that is something that I'd like you would. If she comes to you for information later on, or if you feed information of interest to her, she'll lend you the stuff.
Okay.
Are you guys prepared to do that?
Seems fair.
Then that deals with one problem. Next would be your weaponry. Is there anything you wish to upgrade to their Icarus? The only real concern is your encumbrance. Because I don't think you are particularly... you got 29 strength. You are strong in the will and weak of body.
Don't know if anything makes sense. What did you all buy just to get the thoughts rolling? I know it won't be what I buy, but
just the Weber.
Yeah, just the Weber.
Yeah, they only just picked up the Weber. That was it.
fair enough. Looking
I
at
guess
the
I can afford from my own money, as it were. I think I'll get a las gun.
okay,
It's cheap.
It's a good purchase. I have
Well,
one.
wait, hold on. We got to check the availability.
It's common.
Is it common?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, the thing given to every single Imperial Guardsman.
So hold on. Common, in stock at every level of world. Do you want to try and bargain to get that price down?
Go on. Let's give that a go.
Okay. Would you give us a rapport haggling check, please?
Okay, let's give
It's
that
typically
a go.
opposed. Let me roll for the opponent. Go. Okay, I failed by 2.
Okay, it's a challenging, right?
Challenging, yeah, because it's contested. Look at that. Holy smokes. Woo-hoo. So that is 7 success levels, which means a maximum reduction of 20%. You're going to save yourself 20% on your purchase.
Awesome. Let me get that then.
Okay.
Well done.
You got a las gun. You all are going to be outfitted with voice suits. What else are you thinking? What we'll do is we'll think of it in terms of 8 hours of time. So, Octavia, that's not going to take you 8 hours to get that, but that'll be one of your activities during that time. If you wish to try and seek out any other information or call on any other assets, this will be your time to do that. You know what? I think that between purchasing, maybe Octavia is done, between negotiating and securing the void suits and getting those repaired, that's probably the first cycle for Octavia of getting that. Noros and Icarus, anything you guys wish to do?
Are the, just one question, are the Death Watch busy this afternoon, or?
that will require a little bit higher score with your, with the Ordos Xenos.
Noros, what do you think about grenades?
Love them. Use them all the time. Having a couple could be useful.
In void suits?
Oh.
Don't get in the way of our machinations, GM.
I haven't seen the suffocation rules in play yet, so I'd love to see those.
We'll be around the corner, of course.
But yeah, grenades is not a... grenades use, I believe, athletics to deploy. Or
Is the entire... I mean, we should do some research, I think.
On the
Is
statue.
the entire statue, like, open to space, or are there places where someone could be living?
You would know that there are apparently like reliquaries and whatnot that were built inside that were intended to house the particularly devoted or holy individuals.
Right.
So it's just riddled with a bunch of service corridors and whatnot, some of which may be exposed to space, some of which may not be. Most likely, the vast majority of it is intended to be habitable and visitable, but the other issue would be heating. What you know about the gene stealers thus far, at least for the hybrid, they can't live in a vacuum.
Okay.
So that narrows at least some things down likely for you.
Uh-huh.
Noros or Icarus, anything you guys wish to do with your first shift, your 8 hours?
I mean, we could also get smoke grenades for that matter, Noros, if you're...
I don't think smoke grenades function in a vacuum. Remember, you guys had that, you had to get those special powder grenades when you guys were on the surface of that asteroid where the Righteous Path was located? They would work in the areas that do have atmosphere, though.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I could try to find, I don't know where I would look, some kind of religious... There's not very many, but maybe there's
The
someone who
Drusians are
has...
all over the place here. And the Order of St. Drusus, you see them going around everywhere, almost on footfall, kind of marching their, and saying they're marching around in their processions. And
okay, I could go talk to them and see if any of them have ever been to the statue or been inside it, just to see if we can get some kind of information, some firsthand information about the lay of the land.
Yeah, so they're a fanatical cult dedicated to St. Drusus with fiery preachers in black sackcloth robes seen in communities across. You've passed these loons standing on, boxes and screaming about the St. Drusus and the God Emperor. If you want to try and get some info there,
I'll go speak with them. I mean,
sure. So what I think that'll be is, let me get my GM.
I'm not
screen.
necessarily the greatest at it, but can't hurt.
You've also got
Worst case scenario, we have another enemy on our little sheet that doesn't
you got fate points too. Remember, and one neat thing with this, Sean, is fate points, when you spend them to add +1 success level, that can go from a fail to a success. Success levels is what dictates it in this game, as opposed to for Warhammer Fantasy 4th.
Okay.
So, Noros, I think you are thinking of, is it rapport? Rapport and inquiry. And among these, do you want to spend any money? Or do you want to call in any favors? I don't know if you have any favors right now among these.
No, I don't think so.
So then here's another thing. If you share... So there's bribery is a thing in the game, but bribery is more than just material goods.
Right.
Can you think of anything that you could do or say that might influence the Drusians in your favor?
Okay, so what did they worship? Did they worship the god emperor?
Yeah, one of the saints of him, yeah.
Oh, one of his saints.
Yeah, St. Drusus. I'll tell you about St. Drusus in just a sec here. St. Drusus.
I'm teetering on the, not wanting to cause a panic and let it, people know what's going on here, but also like playing to their religious fanaticism, like a Xenos, nest of these things has taken root in the emperor's statue of all places, and we need their help to get as much information as we can, because we're going to go over there and root them out.
So St. Drusus was a Lord General Militant of the Astra Militarum and the second leader of the Angevin Crusade that conquered the Calixus Expanse in the Segmentum Obscurus and founded the Calixus Sector for the Imperium of Man in the early 39th millennium. Drusus was initially a subordinate commander. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. He took command of the Imperial Crusade against the chaos-corrupted Xenos wraith known as the Yuvath and their allies.
So their patron saint fought against Xenos corruption. So absolutely, I like it. I think I would play to that story of like what would sorry, I don't remember his name.
St. Drusus?
St. Drusus. Yeah, there we go. That'd be good.
Yeah, I know we all went to high school with a St. Drusus, but in the event it was spelled differently. There you go.
High school band.
Yeah.
St. Drusus. Yeah. Yeah. What would St. Drusus do if he were to discover that there was a Xenos infestation in the heart of this, symbol of the Emperor?
So I think for... likely for the appearance of pacifying the ecclesiarchy, the enclave of the chapel, I should say, of the Order of St. Drusus is likely going to be in the atrium as well, near where the liege's residence is. So it's not going to be far from where your actual, the proper headquarters are located. if you travel there, you would see. How would you? Because I mean, a street preacher is not going to be someone who's going to help you all that much. How would you sort of approach the?
Yeah, I think if anything, I would ask him where, to speak to someone more knowledgeable in
Sure.
or who's maybe been here in this area longer.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a? Oh, you know what? I can tell you what I'm curious of is whether this the macro statue predates the Crusade. The Crusade was in the 39th millennium, they said, so that is 200 years ago. And yeah, that was the Angevin Crusade. That was the first Angevin Crusade, was earlier than that. I wonder when Footfall was established. Yeah, Port Wanderer was established then. Footfall was established by the 41st millennium. Let's see. Oh, you know what it says in the intro for the thing is that Footfall was originally called someone's, like there's a name attached to it. So and so is Footfall.
Hmm.
It was established in the 41st millennium. So that means about 600 years ago, rogue trader Persimus Dwayne, because it was originally called Dwayne's Footfall.
Huh.
Which means, the reason I wanted to look that up is because if the Drusians were founded in the either late 39th or early 40th millennium, they would have been in existence with plenty of time. They may be, in fact, the ones who helped build this thing, which means they would probably have access to a lot of information about the macro statue.
Oh, yeah.
So, then, why don't we do this? That all sounds great. Why don't you give us a...
Probably some skill I don't have roll.
Well, it is going to be your rapport that you're rolling. I don't think you've got a specialty of inquiry, do you?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then you're going to be doing this at easy because of the influence. There is one other helpful thing. By calling on your patron's name. Unsurprisingly, I remember what everyone... The most famous member of your Rogue Trader dynasty was a Lord Inquisitor as well as a Lord Captain.
Right.
So I'm giving you +2. One from being House Aquare, one from being from the approach that you are taking. So go ahead and give us an easy rapport check whenever you like.
Okay, here we go. Easy. Submit. Come on, lucky.
Oh. So, unsurprisingly, I think retroactively, the idea of sending an ex-member of the Astra Militarum is probably the smartest approach you could have taken with this. Because remember, Drusus was a member of the Astra Militarum.
Right.
So I'll let you have 7 success levels with that because you can also call on your own personal influence.
Wonderful. So
you are ushered in among these, and you know well enough from your time in the Imperial Guard to say the prayers properly when the commissar is around. And you are ushered in, and let's give a name to this person you're
meeting with.
Yeah, it'll be a high Gothic name. How about Brother Parthios?
Brother.
There you go.
Parthios.
So there's been a bit of back and forth among some of these sackcloth wearing Drusians, and then you were finally brought before one of them. each of them insists on giving some kind of like little Drusian chant or homily or something like that when they leave you.
Yeah.
So you definitely have the feeling that you are in a church more so than you are in any other kind of organization. And you're brought before Brother Parthios. And what was it, do you think, that you asked for?
Probably, I mean, I might have even come right out and said, you know, someone with the greatest knowledge of, or knowledge of the statue, someone who's visited it, or someone who's worshipped there, I guess would probably be the way that I would put it.
Okay.
Because I would assume that, like you said, it's not heavily used, but maybe, you know, they've done some ceremonies over there. It still is. So
maybe you've been brought into like a library to meet with this person, and you're there and you're surrounded by all these, you know, old texts and whatnot. And there is also a cogitator desk that's been built up as well. And then there are likely the skull servitors that are zooming around in the library, dealing with their books. There likely is a librarian servitor. Librarian in this sense, typically what librarian means, Jeff, in this setting is psychic, a psychic thing. But this is an actual, like, someone who moves books around, librarian, not a psychic. And you're waiting there for a little bit when this man comes in dressed in the same sackcloth as before as the others. There doesn't seem to be, to your eyes, any difference in his station, and you've got a pretty good eye for looking for, rankings and things like that, insignia.
Yeah.
But he comes in, he is probably in his 60s. I'm picturing kind of a Pete Postlethwaite kind of, hunched over, aging guy who looks like he's probably got some undiagnosed illness. And he comes in, he's got a cybernetic implant on his eye, and he nods to you. This seems to be not a increased apparatus. It seems more of like a matter of necessity. Something's happened to him that he's needed it replaced, as opposed to somebody to help him in his task. And he looks up at you, and he's followed by a skull servitor as well. And he says, "Well, hello. Noros,
Greetings.
was it?
That's right. Brother
House
Parthios.
Aquarius?
Yes, of House Aquare.
I am.
Yes. Sorry to trouble you here in your place of sanctuary, but...
None. The St. Porthos... St. Drusus, not Porthos. St. Drusus, as soon as I said it, I'm like, that ain't right. St. Drusus smiles on those who serve an illustrious and crusading household such as yours.
And that is exactly why I am here. House Aquare has taken upon themselves a small crusade here in Footfall. We have learned of a Xenos infestation, the Gene Stealers. I'm sure you are aware.
Do you want to spread that?
Well, that's why I was thinking, is it safe to say? I don't know. That's what I was questioning before, is do I say it or not? Because I mean...
You're calm. What do you think?
I'm trying to ingratiate myself to him. So taking him into trust, I think, was the decision of
sure.
Trying to if I try to skirt around what we're doing, then that seems like I might be trying to manipulate him.
No, absolutely, that all makes sense. So yeah, his eyes kind of go wide.
Yeah, I know this is a big deal. This is the universe-ending threat.
He leans in. And he says, rumors were that the monastery at Hephaestium's Rest came... that there was some incident, and that your honored house was involved with the liberation of those monks in their holy calling.
Yes, that is correct. It was our house that was there and discovered the presence of these vile Xenos, and we tracked some here on Footfall, and we managed to extract from one of them that they have created a nest here in Footfall.
Their poison spreads to here too?
Yes, and it will sicken you to hear that they have used the statue of the great god emperor as their host.
His eyes go wide, and his little frame starts trembling with rage. And he says, "The macro statue?"
Yes, the macro statue. We are at this very moment putting together a small force to go over there and eradicate them from it.
So he does need a moment to curse in kind of like faux Latin as he is repeating some curses and some invocations for both St. Drusus and the God Emperor. And then when he finally collects himself, he says, "Forgive me. It's shocking that such filth could find themselves into such a holy area. The thought...
You understand how disgusted we are. Yes, we have a plan. We're putting together a shuttle. We have some men, and we hope to root them out and eliminate them before they can make a proper nest here and destroy Footfall, and from there spread out into the rest of the expanse.
Did you come for assistance for this crusade?
Well, I mean, if you have resources that are ready to go, we plan to leave within, I don't know, I'm going to say the next 24 hours. But mostly we came for information.
Yes. And he goes over to the desk with the cogitator set up underneath, and there's kind of things buzzing around. He turns and says something to one of the servitors, and it kind of hovers up and goes to one of the upper levels in the library. He goes over and activates the holo table, and there's a thing goes up, and he begins performing certain prayers and whatnot over this thing, and then it begins to change its display until it finally kind of brings up it looks like it is a schematic of the macro statue.
Amazing. I'd hope that you would have something.
Indeed. Tell me of your... Can you? I do not mean to impose just this imposition of this filth on the glory of the God Emperor and such a sacred place. It causes my very soul to burn. I forget myself. Can you share your plan?
We are still piecing it together. We were planned to take a shuttle over there and explore and hopefully use our psychic and our sensors to locate them. But if you had some idea of where in this giant statue we should be searching, that would be of great assistance.
Forgive my... I mean no rudeness. Have you scanned the statue, the macro statue?
We do not have a scanner.
It would avail you very little. Even the finest tuned aspects and augurs, there are power units set throughout the macro statue so as to power the various units within, and they, combined with the structure itself, would make the use of them quite futile. However, there are only limited locations where they would be, and if there is a devilish cunning to this Xenos scum, they would have selected locations such as that to avoid any chance of revelation or discovery of their blasphemous plot. And he kind of
and there's like them on the
10 locations that he notes as being these.
Perfect. Can I take like a scan of it or a picture or some? I don't know what the
he gestures to one
like.
of the servitors, and it kind of floats down, and he says, "I will send this with you, along with what assistance we might offer. There is a great deal of locations. Can you tell me anything more about them? What? I know little of these gene stealers.
Oh, well,
Are they frail like man?
they are like a man.
Ah.
They
Then you would wish to have only locations with heat.
Yes.
And 3 of them go out, leaving 7. And likely air as well.
Yes, they cannot survive in the void of space.
Another 4 go out, leaving only 3. These, and he gestures to the 3 locations. These would be the locations that I would suspect. If the auguries and auspexes do not reveal anything there. And the way these are, they are fairly spread out, so potentially with Icarus's sensors, his senescence ability, he may be able to narrow that down even further.
Right.
But navigating them, and he hits, and there is like a mass. These things are a web of different, corridors and whatnot, doubling back on and whatnot. These were designed so as to enable processions. Thousands of devotees coming to pray to those loyal to the God Emperor. And his eyes kind of glaze over. Wondrous. But turn to such evil. It would be difficult. There would be many opportunities for them to flee. Which is why you say 24 hours. Yes?
That is our strategy.
Then, if you might narrow them down, we can join you in your crusade. Perhaps enter from another direction. Prevent them from entering or escaping your righteous wrath.
That would be incredible. House Aquari would be blessed with your assistance.
We would be honored to participate in not only an operation driven by one of the Astra Militarum, but one with such an honored and storied legacy of service to the Ordo Xenos.
I thank you for everything.
It is but anything. We thank you for the opportunity to serve. And he kind of can't help himself, and once again sort of lapses into some Latin-esque prayers.
Yeah.
You realize he's not really all there. Like he does present better than some of the people who've been on like the street corners or whatnot, but these are full-on religious fanatics that you'll be taking into
right
with you.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. I'd probably give them the coordinates of our, where we're gonna leave our shuttle or whatever.
Have you any sense is there anything that could give you further information? I will investigate further, Noros.
Thank you.
Tell us when we are ready, and our crusaders will be at the ready as well. We will also, and he gestures over at the servitor, which comes down. He once again does some invocations, and there's a file transfer from here to them.
Yeah.
He prays, invokes St. Drusus' name once again, goes over, prays to the machine spirits within the servitor, and directs towards you, and this skull thing floats over to you, and we'll be following you now.
Okay. Wonderful. I'll head back to wherever we're rallying from.
Yep, the skull servitor is following you along. Then we did start late, but why don't we take our mid-session break now? We were talking for much of the stuff before, and then we'll come back and see if Icarus has anything he wishes to try and track down. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
It's nice. The sun is coming up.
See the sun's coming up?
Yep.
I was just going to say I'm glad that we're playing this time of year, because it's still this time of year the sun is just going down, so I can still go out and turn the light on and close the blinds before it gets dark for Anna, so she's not sitting in the dark for a couple of hours. Awesome. All right, so then Icarus, what, if anything, would you like to do?
I was thinking, is there I don't know if there's such a thing as an office. What would pass as an office for the Adeptus Astra Telepathica in such a way station? Is there a place where I might find...
Not... What is it you're looking for there? Like, what are you hoping to uncover?
Just to see, since that is kind of my... since I have influence with them, to see if I could chat with them about the statue, if it has any emanations of...
The way to think of the different factions, they're not like... they are not distinct, like, units of, like, there's the Astra Telepathica, there's the Astra Militarum, there's whatever else. There's a bunch of different individual factions that may have connections with those broader categories of that. So within here, for instance, if you were trying to deal with a astropath who was aligned with a rival house, you may be able to draw on your influence as fellow members of the Astra Telepathica, but depending on the nature of the household, they may be willing to or not willing to work with you with that. There isn't per se like although, because we were talking about Fallout before, I'm thinking of like a nice, like, cheery help desk with a bald guy with a big staff. Hello?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what would pass for if one would want.
Well, here's what you could do, right? Is there, that there is a place called the Pit of Voices, which is a location of outcast astropaths. It constantly has incense burning. It is a tiered room. It is a very unsettling place to be if you are not if you're not used to the kind of din that would psychically be there. So that might be a place.
Where rogue psychers go.
Yeah. Outcast astropaths, technically, not that is different from a rogue psyker. A rogue psyker is someone who's not a sanctioned psyker. Outcast astropaths may just be ones who are not currently employed. There is also there was one other person who's a former astropath and now an oracle among them, whose name is Ater Solicat. And she is said to have, had her ability to function as an astropath largely severed, her unique connection to the warp now affords her powerful oracular abilities, such that she is kind of a legend among the folk of Footfall.
And she dwells in the Pit of Voices?
She is not actually separate. She kind of wanders, so you would have to ask around and find your way there. Although Lord Captain Jerry, she indicated that she seems to have a way of contacting Ader Solicat. So both of those are things where just to give you an example mechanically of, that's where your faction stuff could come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll try to track her down. So I will go to, I will see about, maybe I will drop by the Adeptus, is it Masochus?
So that is in this era, this 8-hour period. Remember, Octavia's called on the favor from her to get those void suits. So you will not be able to call on her for this one, but is there any other one, or any other person you think you might be able to call on? Or do you just want to ask around? Or try and sense her?
Yeah, maybe try to sense her is a good idea.
Okay. So why don't you give us, let's see here. Okay. don't you give us a psychic mastery telepathy? Is that it? No, awareness senescence.
All right.
You're not trying to manifest a power. You're trying to sense something. I thought senescence was under something.
Specialization in that?
Yeah, and I think for this, why don't you make it we'll make your roll, and then we'll give +1 success level because of your influence.
Okay.
Because you're sort of trusting that the warp will bring you to her, right?
Yes. All right.
So that would be
does my psi focus work with senescence or just
I think it gives
powers?
you +1 success level.
Yep, with this too.
I think. Let's see.
It says +1 SL with psychic mastery, and that's what we're using. So maybe.
No, we're using awareness, not psychic mastery.
Oh, okay.
Because awareness is the senescence one. So no, gotcha. that this would not be of assistance here.
All right.
Ooh, there was a 90 on it though. So would you like to? That's technically a -3. You want to spend a fate point reroll?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
There you go. Nicely done. All right, so that's with 2 success levels. And let me see here. I think where you come across her is somewhere high up in Void Dock Alpha Row, a place that looks out over the various ships coming and going from those ports. And she seems to be staring out at them, although you know with your unique senses and your ability to feel the immaterium, that you can tell she is almost watching lights kind of go on out there as the navigators and the navigators of the various ships are contacting with the what is it? That's not the beacon. What is it called? The
Astronomicon?
Yeah. Yes. So where is she? Where is she here? She is... Aha! C'est là. So as you were walking up, she turns slowly, and you can see she's got those strange eyes as well, too. I'm not sure she can actually see. Well, I believe astropaths are blind as well. Mm-hmm. So as you come up, she turns and she looks at you and waits.
So to speak.
Does not speak.
So to speak. Looks at me, so to speak, is what I was going for.
No, she actually does look at you, though. Like that's the thing with the and you would know that, I mean, with a modicum of senescence, you would be able to see yourself. Well, you know, you're not a, space marine librarian. You were certainly no slouch in the psychic, strength department. So she's looking at you.
I say, Icarus.
And you can hear in your mind, I know.
I was just being polite. It's good to make your acquaintance. Atter Sola, can I take it?
You know.
Yes. I came to you to gather your thoughts on the iconic statue of the Emperor.
The macro statue.
The macro statue, indeed. What is it called? What did you say?
Macro statue.
Yes, that one. Yes.
What questions have you of the macro statue?
Of course, Icarus is far more serious, and he says, I fear that evil grows within it, and I am looking into it, and I need all the information I can gather, including your insights.
You come bearing a Quare insignia.
Yes, I'm in the employ of the Aquare.
He calls.
What was it? What did she say?
He calls.
This is, so, do you have any?
She steps forward and grabs your arm urgently. And again, the eyes are milky white and clearly cannot see, but she is staring at you. And you're hearing all of this in your mind as well. Yeah. His soul burning, unquenched.
Whose soul's burning?
Aquare.
I have no idea what you're saying.
That she says out loud.
What did she say out loud?
Aquare.
Okay, I was just making sure.
You just want me to say the name Aquare over and over again? What was that, Kev?
Yeah.
Aquare.
Well, along with
Aquare.
macro statue too, both.
Aquare macro statue. It's like a dog. My leg is going right now.
Yes. Do you feel that the immaterium is intertwined between these two?
Why don't you give us an easy awareness check? This is not senescence. This would be... let's see here. Why on earth did I put my GM screen down there? My patron screen. This would be awareness. Hold on.
There's intuition too.
Yeah, intuition. Intuition human.
Indeed.
Are you human?
I beg your pardon.
They are mutants. So depending on which member or which branch of the Inquisition you ask.
I'll not have such talk when I'm trying to discuss the macro statue. Let's see. Easy.
People, when we're playing Barbarians of Lemuria tomorrow, and I keep insisting on saying macro statue, they're going to be really confused.
I wonder what is going on.
Yeah.
A macro is a chain of cash and carry warehouse stores in the Netherlands. So I've got this fashion of this as being a very cheap bulk port statue.
Yeah.
So for North Americans, I suppose it would be Costco. The Costco statue. Bulk barn statue. Do they have Lidl in the Netherlands as well?
Yeah, the German one, yeah.
Lidl was a place that always had the fucking mystery meals. They had them. They were dirt cheap when I lived in Dundee, and they were always fucked up like flavors and stuff. It was the bulk, like ready to expire within a day or two. Amazing. All right, so that is. Here's what you can tell, and a 6 or higher is roughly like a critical success.
Mm-hmm.
You've said stuff to her. There's not a conversation that's going on here. She is spouting off stuff to you, and you're having to try and make sense of what's being said. Like, it may have seemed as if you were having a conversation with her. You realize now, like, oh, like you're not here at all. Like, this is.
She's broadcasting. She's just coming at me.
Yeah. And you would know from what you've heard too, like, the people who give credence to her oracular ability, there's likely weight and value to what she said. She does not speak lightly. So having realized, like when you made your last sentence was a more framed, like, oh, well, here's what I'm here to talk to you about, this and this, and you realize when you look at her, you're like, oh, this is not the way this is going to go. So what do you think? Let me ask you this: what do you want out of her? What was your intent in tracking her down?
Possibly to maybe get her. I mean, she's a diviner, apparently. So probably.
But what do you want out of her? What information?
I mean, possibly I was going to ask her about the future of the near future of the statue, just to see if it elicited something useful. But since that's her specialty, but
I think you need to think in more. Like, what would you go see a tarot reader for? Think less like, D&D commune spell. And I know you're not thinking mechanically that way, but that's an example of a game mechanic where, like, I'm using augury to try and figure something out. Think more in the terms of if you were to have the cards read, or if you were to cast, sticks, or cast the I Ching and try and figure out what is the... For one, you found her, which suggests that she may have answers for you for something. She has spouted some things, but they seem to be uncontrolled or unfocused.
I mean, I could try. What future do you see for me with the statue? What do you see with my my intertwining psychic light and the Emperor's light from that statue? What future do you see there?
Why don't you give us either you can try and connect with her using telepathy, but that'll be a risk.
Mind, Icarus.
Or you can try and use rapport. Rapport will be much more difficult because that is just not the level she is functioning on.
Yeah, telepathy is no brainer. That's mine.
Go ahead.
Bread and butter.
So this will be a challenging telepathy. But you will get +1 success level from your focus. Okay. And you'll get +1 success level because you are trying to elicit information from someone in the astral telepathic. And I think you would be aware enough of how damaged... Like, oracular gifts are rare, and particularly accurate ones, because it demands an enormous amount from the individual. The warp and the immaterium is a place without any meaningful understanding of time. In order to divine the future, one needs to pass through that timeless place and then come out into the future in order to divine that. That is not how human minds, even ones mutated to afford a psychic gift, are designed to function. So it leaves the person with a generous way of saying it is that they have a very different perspective of both the world and how to communicate with those in it. A less generous way would be that their brain is utterly shattered and left in ruins scattered across the timeless immaterium. And sometimes you get some useful shit out of that. That's what you're tapping into.
All right. And superiority, can that be used for adding a couple of success
superiority
levels?
The way superiority works is only in combat encounters.
I just mean the field. It's asking me, so I was wondering if I could use it for +2.
No. Well, the thing is, you can't use it because it doesn't exist right now. You only generate superiority at the start of a combat encounter and as that progresses. It's not like momentum in Warhammer Fantasy 4th where you're getting it every round and whatnot.
I wasn't using it for the mechanic. I was using it for the just to see if I could use it to add a couple success levels.
So to answer if you're not in combat, there is no interplay of superiority.
I mean on the chat. In the chat, that's it. That's right. Yeah. So it's 6, right? So it's 6.
Okay. So then what you have a brief vision of, and it would be because again, the Immaterium is a place of raw emotion as well as timeless chaos. So you have to think of this in a metaphorical context as this thing screams with power and consumes you. But it is a Xenos warped psyker, a magus.
And she's projecting the image towards me.
Precisely. Not to, no. She didn't project the image towards you. You witnessed and saw that, and you were consumed by it. However, staggering back, you have an instinctive sense of where this was. This was in the beating heart of the Emperor's Macro statue. So if you were to compare this to the 3 remaining locations, there is one obvious choice for where this creature awaits you.
Beautiful.
I let out a big breath. Yes. Yes. This is in the beating heart of the Macro statue.
Macro statue.
Should Sean have heard that better, or is that about right?
She said macro statue once again.
All right. Yes.
She leans forward. She's still holding onto your hand once again, and you can hear the voice move once again from one side to the other as it repeats, "The soul burns." And she releases you, and her face goes back to the same placid expression that you saw before, and her head goes up as if she heard something. You did not hear anything. And she turns and looks out the windows once again at the various vessels and whatnot that drift out there, and the countless rocks that have been chained to one another. And it's then that the atrium rotates just enough to bring the clear perspective of the Macro statue into view. And you can see the looming figure of the robed Emperor, his massive sword clutched, staring out and seemingly in your direction.
I'll turn my head like I saw her do, like I hear something, even though I don't. Just my ego won't let me.
Yeah, I heard it as well.
Yes.
If anyone's wondering, I did hear the thing that everyone seems to have heard. I definitely heard it as well. Before you, in fact. I just didn't want to make a big deal out of it. So...
Right. And the way I do it, I go, yes, as I... that's how it translates. So, and I kind of think to thank her, but I think she's moved on, and I give her a nod in her direction.
Literally, metaphorically, figuratively, all of that is true.
And make my way out.
Okay. So you have made, I think you did roll 7 with Adder Soliket. So I think you can add Adder Soliket to your list of influence at +1.
We connected.
Mm-hmm. That's a great result in that dice roll. Well, the second one. Then we can picture you guys are all meeting back up again. Noros, you've had your meeting with the Drusians. Icarus has had a meeting with Adder Silicat, forgive me. It was Otter in like International Otter Day, I think, at the beginning of the week, so I've had them on my fucking brain all week. And Octavia's come back with a complete set of void suits, and we'll say if you don't want to use an Aquare shuttle and you want to use something more surreptitious, we'll say she's also kicked that in for you. It's gonna be a heck of a favor you're gonna owe her. So then, when you come meeting back, it's possible that Icarus is even more pale and sweaty than what he normally is.
A little bit. Like there's a bit of a throb, like the veins a little bit.
Yeah. The Telosians from the Cage. Not the Cage. What is it? Is it the Cage?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The Menagerie?
The Menagerie. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Because the Cage, I think, is the... Actually, I don't know. I keep wanting to say the Tholian Web, but that's actually called, I think, Tholian Web. Or is that one called the Cage?
Oh, I forget that one.
Anyway. Wrong IP anyway, I guess. So then, what do you guys share with one another?
I probably activate the servitor, or however I do it. I'm sure my character has some idea.
Yeah.
And
so if you're in that same boardroom I guess, are you meeting the atrium or are you meeting in your warehouse?
Warehouse, I'd guess.
Oh, the warehouse, yeah. A little privacy.
It's great. By the end of this campaign, we're going to have like little pockets of different games being played at different places on Footfall.
Yeah.
So, because I assume Cubicle 7 is just going to keep releasing new 40K games.
Yeah,
and
right.
we'll
Probably.
Yeah. Then what you do then is I think that it's going to be able to offer some kind of like holo display itself. And what you can see is there's 3 different units that show up, one of which would be in the heart of the statue, the macro statue.
My hand shoots out and I put it up to touch the hologram where the heart is, and I say, here is where she showed me that the Magos is doing his maggotry.
And if you do actually touch the display, then what happens is it kind of the display shifts and zooms in to give you a display of the complex area that sort of surrounds the place where the power center is.
She said the soul burns here and the Magos dwells.
Those are 2 separate things she said. She said the soul burns before
you
asked your question.
He's trying to blather. He's doing his best with a lot of information.
That's fine. I want to make sure that you Sean, understand that there was 2 separate things that she had said.
Yep.
Let's burn out the infestation then.
Indeed. I think we have what we've come for.
Both the laborers and the guardsmen are listening in on this meeting, I'm assuming, as well.
Yep.
Okay. So
One of the
Aquari guardsmen says, "And what's the word then?"
It is time to do the Emperor's work. Off to the shuttle we go. Any more preparations? I look at Octavia and Noros.
I will just notify the Saint Drusus.
Yep, the Drusians.
The Drusians of our departure.
And
I guess maybe the servitor can do that.
Yeah, and also, like, Icarus would likely be aware you are a subservient to Octavia. So the proper way of phrasing would be, is it time for us to go to the shuttles? Not commanding, let's go to the shuttles and go.
No,
someone's used to being another Aquare.
Let's load up.
All right, very well.
Time for action.
So what is the arrangement with the Drusians then that you wish to? What do you tell them?
I think I just told them I would let them know when we were leaving. He said that they could potentially offer some back support to stop them from fleeing if we thought they were fleeing. So I don't know what that amounts to, but I still did tell them I would let them know when we were leaving. So
the Drusians, it will not be something akin to the like the Imperial Guard or whatnot, but
no, I didn't expect that.
But St. Drusus is a militant saint, one of the Astra Militarum, so they're going to be, they're going to be able to make a better showing of a military force than what you might expect from them.
Nice.
So, what is your plan for them? Do you want them to seal off the escape routes?
Yeah, so that none of the Xenos can get out of the statue. Once we.
What timing would you like? Do you wish to communicate to them when you're going in? The use of those. What are they? Is it combuds? Comlinks? There's a Vox bead. The use of the Voxes would be if a Xenos have access to those, that might be a problem. And also, once you get within there, there's going to be limited range for it, just because of it's a shit ton of solid rock that you're trying to transmit through. Do you wish to have a specific timing for them to be there, or?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably any time after.
At the same time as we arrive, right?
Yeah, as soon as our presence is known, I would think it wouldn't matter. But we wouldn't want them to precede us, perhaps. But
no.
After we've made our.
But nor to delay too far behind us, because then that wouldn't be stopping them from fleeing, right? So.
Yeah.
I guess probably is, we'll tell them we're leaving, and hopefully they'll come as soon as they can, as soon as possible, I guess would be the message.
Well, do we not rendezvous at the entrance and leave them behind us to hold the entrances as we head in?
Well, the problem is there's hundreds of different
100 entrances.
Yeah, so what they were offering to do is kind of go around the backside, make their way into where they might make their escape, seal off those places.
Right.
So as you guys go forward, you should either you'll encounter them or they'll be driven into them.
Right. So yeah, I think the message for timing would just be as soon as possible.
Okay. So if you Vox speed with them, then what they will say is they have organized a group of around 60 Crusaders.
Excellent.
So they will get themselves into position now and appear as if they are simply going to provide, they'll look no different than anyone else offering services. That's very, very rare, as we've talked about, but that at least gives some justification for why they're going there.
Right.
Then, what's the plan for you, 3 and your 10 troops?
To the shuttle, Lady Aquare?
To the shuttle. Let's go.
So, you head to the shuttle. What is the plan for when you get in there? Is it just to head directly to the reactor? Do you have any kind of stealth you wish to do? Do you have any use of Icarus's abilities? Do you have any plan for any countermeasures that might be in place? I think that stories of space hulks infested with Xenos creatures may be something you're, if not having full details of them, you would be aware of the existence of them, particularly as a rogue trader, because that is a big threat to navigation. And you would know these things often. These are not dumb, rude animals, as some might say. They are clever and devilish in their traps as well. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Noros would suggest this. Jeff might suggest this, or an Aquari might, of using our guardsmen to trigger the trap. Noros would obviously not suggest anything
of course not
of the like, but an Aquari might. I think that's a reasonable idea.
Thanks to your dutiful service, we now have a name for your unit. You are the Canaries.
Basically.
Well, we got the squad through unscathed last time. Let's try and do the same, but. Yeah, let's have 2 up front. Then you following them, Norris. That's an Aquari, you see. I'll keep the other 8 round me.
Okay.
I have learnt from our great family leader on how to lead.
And what if there are traps? Any plan, any strategy for that, Lady Octavia?
Not dying them. I'm not sure. With a trap, it is difficult to foresee.
Of course.
I will be looking for their souls as we go forward. Hopefully I will see them before they see us.
So let's take a look at Synescience. Just so we're aware of that, because you do have soul sight, but every time you use a power, you're increasing your threshold.
Yeah.
And a warp manifestation is likely a surefire way to give your pending assault away. Okay, I am looking for skills. Go. All right. Awareness and Synescience. There is not a distance on it. Is there in the psychic power section, I wonder? There we go. Let's see here. There is not a psychic phenomenon.
The soul one has 20 meters. It's just for the actual power is medium, which is 20 meters.
Okay, so let me take a look at the Rogue Trader. I appreciate it's a navigator power, but I have another idea of how maybe to do it. If I don't see an obvious answer here. Okay. There we go. Extended actions. Focus augury.
You get the ore specs running, obviously.
Yeah. Active augury. Oh, it's within 20 void units. Yeah, never mind. That is not exactly narrowing it down. I thought that there was a... Maybe it was under Synescience in here. I'm looking in the Rogue Trader books. Remember how you used the scan? This was like one of our first sessions in Rogue Trader to scan another ship to see if there were Psychers aboard?
Mm-hmm. I think that was Synescience under Rogue Trader.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say range on that either. looking at
Sounds
one more
like it's a
place
bit
here.
like Deny the Witch. It changes a bit between them.
Yeah, that definitely changes between the. Cause I think it's like a dodge in this where it just pushes the difficulty up of psychic powers. I think in Imperium Maledictum, you said you were looking at psychic powers,
and
right,
Wrath
Sean?
and Glory, you can really smack. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Wrath and Glory is. It's funny because when I was looking for the answer, for those listening at home as well too, if you are playing Imperium Maledictum, so when you make a psychic character, all psychic characters get the smite ability. It says it in one place in the rulebook that is the case, and it seems with all the characters that have been built in the pre-gens that were offered in the starter set that's the case. But it only says it in one place, and that does not include any of the character generation sections or any of the psychic talent sections. So just if you are playing it, just be aware that you get smite for free.
You just need to be psychic to play a psychic.
Exactly. Here we go. Jeez, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it in the navigator section either. So I don't know if I saw that in like, what do you call it? The psychic one, the whatever is in the navigator codex. What was it called? In any event, here's what we'll do. We'll use what my other idea was. So Icarus. What you're going to be doing is, as you're getting closer, the chance to detect him is going whoever your adversary is will become increasingly easy. So as far as finding your way to the potent psyker, that will be progressively easier the closer you get, but it will cut both ways as well. Do you have any psychic abilities to hide yourself, to conceal yourselves from detection?
I do, maybe. Let's see here. I have mental fortress. Your mind cannot be read by psychic powers.
I don't think that hides you.
No. Don't think there's anything.
So that just means as you're getting closer, it'll be, Luke on the shuttle.
Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have come.
Exactly.
If we kill you, they won't notice.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So then, that'll be your way, I guess, of like locating towards the area. Noros or Octavia, do you have any measures you wish to take to try and or you're just gonna go and see what there's probably a limited degree to which you can actually plan ahead with all this stuff either.
We've got our route, get the Auspex out.
Okay.
And
do you have an Auspex?
Oh, I thought we did. Okay, maybe not. Let's see. Oops, I thought we'd had one. But I guess we don't.
Yeah, an Auspex scanner is 1,000 and it's a scarce device. You know who does have one? Dave's character.
Dave.
That's why I thought we had one.
That might be.
Maybe he'll be here in 2 weeks.
I think he actually might be because he's moving next week. So why don't? But here's the other thing: is if you wish, I think you guys have a grand left over, don't you?
Yeah, we've got grand easy.
So there's
a team one.
There's a little bit of assistance. I don't know if we've completely moved on from the subject, but Psyniscience and Dark Heresy has a little bit of. I don't know if you care.
I don't really want to dig out. Yeah, Dark Heresy. What does it say?
Enough.
What does it say?
It's got some modifiers that involve distance. So, I was just throwing it out there. Like,
what are the distances?
Like detecting the taint of a demon several kilometers away is -20.
Okay.
The whole thing. +30 is detecting the presence of a nearby greater demon. +20. These are examples. +20 is detecting.
It's the, what do you call it, the adage of, like, when you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Every example that Dark Heresy uses. So if a greater demon was standing next to you, it would be.
Yeah, exactly. +20 is detecting the presence of a major demonic incursion.
Okay.
+10 is detecting the taint of a minor demonic incursion. +0 is detecting the presence of a nearby warp entity. -10 is detecting a demonic entity among a large group of psychers.
Okay.
-20 is detect.
Yeah, they've landed on effectively what I was going to use. We're going to start scaling up the difficulty the closer you get in.
Sounds good.
For that. Hello. So why don't you give us this? It is scarce, though. So let me just check what the availability is. And the reason, incidentally, because Octavia is so good at acquiring this stuff, that's why I'm bothering to use the acquisition stuff, because that's kind of your forte.
Yeah.
Scarce here would be 75%. If you want to spend double, it's automatically you can find one.
Should we just gamble?
Yeah, or do you want to go with 75%?
Yep.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Just roll a D100. Okay.
Oh. You could spend a fate point to re-roll that if you'd like.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's go with that. That's more like it.
One is available. Would you like to give us a bargain? Try and get a deal on this.
Oops. Bargain. All right, let me get in there.
Jack dice. Okay, I got a success at, well, I got 0 levels of success.
And that's just a rapport.
Rapport and...
It's not charms. It's
no. Rapport and haggle.
Yep, so there we go. Oh!
You want to fate point that?
Ooh.
You could add 1 to make it a +0, or...
Yeah, it's true. You just spend 1 and then you've just tied. Although I think you need to succeed for contested rolls.
That's to get a discount. No.
Yeah, it's just to get a discount anyway.
Let's
so
just pay the thing. I think I need those fate points more.
Okay, so then it'll add
Other
5% to the cost.
Okay. So 1,050. So okay, I'll take that out of the group funds.
Okay.
So we've got 1,200 left.
Is that coming out of our pay?
No, this is what we got off a corpse. So.
Sounds like an equare to me.
It seems only just that we use the money we found on the corpse to deal to the rest of the Dune Stealers.
All right, so you have yourself an Auspex scanner. Nice. What the Auspex scanner can do is detect living things up to medium range away. It requires, I think, a tech test in order to operate it. Well, a tech test in order to determine like specific phenomena or whatnot, but it also potentially reveals hidden creatures. So if you want to pull an alien kind of like whoop, 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 as you're walking along, you certainly can do that now.
Okay.
And I'm noting, I think your range is the same as my, I mean, I may not be using it, but the soul sight range, medium, just for our...
So it could be a matter of, what does Soul Sight offer you?
It is, let me pull it up here. It is,
Soul Sight's one of the minor ones, right?
Oh, I guess you're right. You're correct. Well,
maybe
you are right.
You're
right. You are.
Okay.
It's on page 170.
Okay.
Soul burns like flames in the darkness of the warp, and you can attune your senses to detect them. Until the start of your next turn, you can sense the presence of living creatures within the medium range according to the soul sight table. You can exclude specific creatures, such as you and your allies, from what this power detects. Additionally, you have advantage to Psyniscience test to detect or identify demons or psychers while this power is active.
And remember, advantage in this game is you flip to the best result with the dice.
Yep.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
advantage is really cool.
And then the let's go check about
And that's sustainable, so I can manifest it and then sustain it for our purposes.
let's see here. What happens to your warp charge when you're sustaining?
To my knowledge, I think it just stays. It doesn't. You don't have to roll again. The main thing is that you're there's not a penalty as far as I can tell. But take a look because I've never.
No, I know it's funny. We were talking when you're at the con last time. Like the neat thing, I only realized now this is actually closer. This warp charge thing is closer to the current version of the tabletop rules, the miniature game. It has this warp charge thing and a warp threshold. Which is neat because I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember what it was like in previous versions of the war game. But this is every other game has like a different way of approaching this. I don't remember the other games having warp charge.
Yeah, it didn't ring a bell for me either. So you sustain it as a free action. You can do so indefinitely. You must be conscious. No test is required to sustain. You may sustain as many powers as you wish. However, sustaining a power requires you to continually channel energy from the warp. You cannot have less warp charge than the total warp rating of each power you're sustaining, even if you attempt to reduce it through purgation.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. That is awesome. So, so you can have that up and active the entire time.
Yeah. It seems pretty cool.
Okay, great. Then, why don't you give us a roll? So anything we need to do before you guys arrive at the macro statue?
Other than prayers to the Emperor.
Oh, yeah. I think it might actually make sense for the first time here if someone does say a prayer to the Emperor. We are about to enter his statue and cleanse it of a Xenos.
So here's an interesting thing. When you are determining the starting superiority, the three things you look at is the battlefield, the enemies, and then the players. I think, guys, if you're calling on the Jerusians to bless you with this, you've got 1 point of superiority already.
Beautiful.
So
they should indeed make suitable prayers as good Imperials.
The enemies and the battlefield will wait until we actually see where you are when the fight comes. And you can't actually spend superiority unless you're in combat, but you have banked this now. So when you do get into combat, you will automatically have that 1 of 3 superiority that you get. And superiority can be spent once per your turn on one of your rolls to gain success level shown. So, then, Icarus, would you give us a telepathy roll? Or is... which isn't telepathy, is it? It's it's a minor power.
So minor powers are associated with the discipline. So the question is which specialty is it connected
Divination,
to?
I would think, but let's see here.
Yeah, I think you're...
Yeah, especially in divination applies to this.
There we go.
But it's a challenging test as well.
All right. Well, then I will make a manifest test.
What is your specialty, Icarus?
Telepathy. The discipline of telepathy. All right. So here we go.
Come on, big money.
Let's see. Challenging. on the number.
Oh, maybe there's a little bit of lingering effect from your visit with the Oracle.
My girlfriend?
You hear a ghostly voice in your mind. We are not dating.
And I say with a smirk, "Oh, of course not."
Oh,
But she is physically blind, right?
Might be your best chance to finding love.
I'm a looker.
I told you guys the the boning knife story before. Remind me, I've got to follow up to that after the stream.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Icarus, what does it look like as you? Oh, and actually, remember, your staff gives you +1, your focus, +1 success level.
Oh yeah, I gotta keep that in mind. That's easy to forget.
Yeah. So, what does it look like as you manifest your power?
I think that, yeah, I mean, you got to have a little, my head starts a little, kind of veins come out a little. I'm a looker.
Yeah.
I'm a looker. Let's just be honest.
Your eyes blaze with power as well.
Yeah, they, I think they go a little, they get a little, there's a little, almost like if there was a hologram of flame just above my eyes. So it's
Nice.
a little, it's just a...
Yeah. I love that everything's gonna be filtered through the 60s sci-fi era thing. There's a double projection of flames across your eye.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this Icarus. Who has the Auspex scanner?
I guess I will. Gets in the way of my new las gun, but let's use that.
Okay. Does
You know what, Kevin? I didn't talk about it. I should just because every time, but the whole pushing, not that I was going to push, but the push option.
awesome,
is,
right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's one of those things that, a D10 is rough. You're not going to do that unless it's hitting the fan. But yeah.
There's a lot of great, honestly, like I feel like a lot of the things I love about running Warhammer Fantasy, especially with the success levels and things like that, they've taken all the best lessons and then further streamlined and further innovated with this system. It's a really well done. My grousing about the editing aside, it's frustrating that they didn't have that mentioned more than once, but the overall game itself is super fucking cool.
Yeah. So James and Jeff, the pushing is you can choose to push before you roll a manifest, and it gives you advantage on the manifest. But you have to roll a D10 of either way. You get a D10 additional warp. What's it called?
Warp charge.
Warp charge over and above whatever you're manifesting. So it could be a 1, but it could be a 10.
I have more
that's
good news for you.
Yeah.
I remembered to set up warp charge on your token. It is the blue bar.
Oh, nice. I figured. No, I
Yeah.
figured.
So you can put your 2 in there because you're currently rocking the.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because you've got some up and running.
It's right.
Okay.
Is there a negative to getting your warp charge going too high or what?
Oh, for sure. So I've got a threshold. My natural threshold is 4, and being sanctioned doubles it to 8. So you get the impression, and so I have 2 now, and so as I keep adding, it'll be additive. As I keep doing things. So.
Yeah.
And when you go beyond 8, you blow up.
He can drain it with a purgation check to just sort of bleed it off safely. If he exceeds his threshold, he has to try and keep holding it together, and then if he fails or if he fumbles one of his manifestation checks, that's when we have the perils of the warp table. Yeah, everyone's favorite table.
It is cool too. You get a chance to hold it together as you're kind of trembling and nose bleeding, and so you get a chance to. That if you don't, you get a chance to. You get a psychic mastery challenging test that you can keeping it together. But as soon as you fail that, then you make the roll on the table. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's what would lead to mutations and
corruption. I think is mutation, but that table is all sorts of nonsense. There's a good table.
Yeah,
there's a good table.
Demonic incursions.
Yeah.
If he fails the test when he's exceeded the threshold, the power of the warp floods through you, and the raw, unconstrained horror of the immaterium rushes into the material universe. As above, the presence of this power becomes obvious as it racks your body, but anyone who passes a routine intuition test can tell you are no longer in control of it.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a long way of saying, if you hear the psyker say, "Oh God," that is probably a time to leave the room.
And that's where the commissar, if we had one, would come running over to put a bolt in your...
Exactly, last gun to the dome. At the beginning of your next turn, if you are still alive, roll once. Roll once of these. It's great. Yeah, the risk reward element is fucking cool, and then you add in the fact that you've got like the ability to burn fate points too. So like, if you really need to get on, there's really great opportunities to tell some really cool stories in the 40K world with this stuff.
I'm having a little hard time putting the 2 in the blue. I don't know why.
Let me see here.
Take a look.
Let me make sure I give you access to it. I did not. That would be your reason.
GM.
Fucking Madison, come on.
Like a tease.
Jeez Louise.
I clicked on that thing a dozen times, I say.
Oh boy. There's a bunch of your things that you can't actually edit.
No. When I was running Dark Heresy 2, one of the players luckily had a ability to be able to roll twice and choose on the perils. But one was, something not great happened, and the other one was a demon forces itself into and remains for D6 rounds. It's just like, let's not do that one.
Well, you kept with your the ability you've got in the modus probandi to avoid some of those terrible things too. We were robbed of some really interesting outcomes on the warp navigation. Interesting,
so it is
of course,
a lot
being very
like
subjective.
that. Like it's a lot like the warp stuff that we were encountering in the.
Yeah, like he might shoot out lightning, like frost might fill the room. Everyone might have their skin change color.
Like there's one where lightning comes out of my like noggin and like whacks everyone for like 3d10 damage. It's pretty rough. And all my gear is burned to a crisp, and I'm standing in a crater. That's one of them. Like there's a lot of
amazing.
Yeah. So one of our armsmen has his combat shotgun aimed at Icarus at all times.
hey.
I do like the fact that, like in Wrath and Glory, like it does feel like the Psyker is going to be more competent and like be able to be participating more, being a Psyker more than what with that risk reward element. It's not quite as powerful as the Sanctioned Psyker was with Wrath and Glory, but that also I think speaks to the tier of play, right? Yeah. These characters are probably more tier 1 as opposed to the tier 2. I think we were playing with that, or tier. Yeah, I think tier 2.
Pretty good access to powers too. I mean, for XP, I was looking at it. It's pretty wide open. Like you can go in any direction you'd like.
Absolutely. The XP system also is. I misjudged it. I thought it had a very limited lifespan. I do not think that anymore. There's so many great talents. There's so many great things, and we've only got one book out for it so far too. Which is really amazing. So
yeah. Next one is Inquisition, I think. Next book.
There's 2 sets of 2 books. Sorry, there's 3 sets of 2 books. One of them is Inquisition. One of them is something they said that has been published before. One of them is one that has never seen print as a RPG for 40K. So...
For Imperium Maledictum, 3
For Imperium Maledictum, yeah.
Okay. Mechanicus.
Probably Mechanicus. But I don't know what I would want for this. I mean, I would say Leagues of Votan right now, only because I've freshly read that source book, and it's amazing.
You've been dreaming of an administratum book for years, Kevin.
Yeah, really? I can finally have my courtroom drama 40K game. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
It's going to be a very short campaign. Okay, we're going to plead guilty. Guilty until proven innocent.
Yes.
And let us remember, innocence proves nothing.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So then, you guys are you got your psychic power active. Noros, what are you doing here?
Well, it seems like I'm kind of leaving the spear, so to speak, of the 4 soldiers or the 4 guardsmen in the front. So just like being highly aware of, you know, anything in front of us and looking for any kind of traps that I would know about as an armsman, like trying to be vigilant in my you know, to not step on any mines, so to speak.
Yep.
Indeed.
So then I need to learn how to say that in Japanese before our next alien session. So
Indeed.
what I think we'll do first is, why don't Jeffrey, because we love seeing your dice results, give us a 2d6 roll, please. Nice. Thank you. Oh, that is interesting. And then let's have Octavia, would you kindly give us a 2d6 roll as well? Nice. And then would Icarus, would you give us a Route 66 roll, please?
Oh, no.
I actually don't know if there's a 66 roll on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can... Is there one on the character sheet?
I just rolled 2d6.
Oh, okay. No, that doesn't work, though. Because the Route 66, remember, has gaps in it?
Okay.
Okay.
Which?
Yeah, because it's not a D66. The Route 66 uses 2 6s. So
it's two
yours
D6s,
works, Sean, but
yeah.
like the Wrath and Glory sheet actually has a Route 66 roll.
Okay, cool.
For those listening at
that
home who may
have
be confused, because it's just so easy, when we say roll a D66, routinely it has a follow-up question of, do you mean a D6? So we've just taken to referring to it as a Route 66 roll, because it's just, there's no mistaking what we're asking for then.
Yeah.
Okay. And then would you give us one more of those, Sean, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are moving along. Tell us what is going through everyone's mind as the shuttle drifts up. You have your last bit of Voxcom with the other, with the Drusians, who at this point are just like filling the fucking airwaves with chants and prayers to St. Drusus. Which, I mean, it is where you're getting some of your, you know, superiority, so you're sort of jazzed up, I imagine. But you guys are... Why don't you tell us what it looks like as you drift in and dock with the thing? You could probably... There is probably a hangar that opens up and allows the shuttle to land within.
I think Icarus is thinking about what soul is burning, perhaps? Like his mind is moving over the diviner's words once again.
She did say a name, too.
I may have missed it. What name she say?
Aquare.
Oh, Aquare.
You were in service house, Aquare, but...
Right. And it, you know, I'd probably be saying that out loud, like almost talking to myself, but to everyone else that
it would be pretty funny if Icarus is sitting there, his eyes glowing, going, Aquare, 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 and then the entire squad just goes, Aquare, and scares the bejesus out of him.
Yeah. Apparently, she said soul is burning. Aquare. And I'm kind of talking to myself. No one has to say anything.
Octavia and Noros are maybe up there. Tell me if I got this wrong, Jeff. Is Noros kind of like the one standing up, holding onto the handle as the like sergeant of the squad?
Yeah. Well.
Oh, did we lose Jeff? We might have lost Jeff. He's frozen
He's not moving much.
No. See,
Just thinking very heavily about what to say.
Very heavily. Very heavily.
He's still in the call, at least for now. Let's see if he drops out. Oh, his image just left. Jeff is really helping to facilitate a cliffhanger.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, James, you were saying what Octavia was doing?
Oh,
No, she'd be pondering on her family and the history of the Xenos, and now it is the time for purging.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff, can you hear us again?
yeah. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you froze out there for a second.
Yeah.
What I'd ask, I'm not sure if you heard, is whether I had it right that as the sergeant that Noros would be standing up while all the soldiers are there, and maybe you're giving last-minute instructions?
Yeah, I was agreeing to that, and then I just said, yeah, and he's wearing every weapon he can possibly carry or strap onto himself.
So you have the voice suits with you, but this, it seems as if there is atmosphere all the way up to this reactor. Will you guys be wearing them? The void suit would be more protection than what you would normally wear, Icarus, but it also is quite cumbersome. Octavia, it is about as equal to the protection you get from your greatcoat, and Noros, it is less than you get from your flak armor.
Oh, then I would probably be wearing my flak armor. If we've predetermined we don't need the suits, yeah.
This is not like a ship where you're gonna vent the air or something like that quite easily. This is for all intents and purposes, a 3.7 mile asteroid that happens to be in the shape of the God Emperor of mankind.
Right. And if we're in the heart of this thing, we are deep inside of it. So,
okay. Right.
It's not like it's going to spring a leak and instantly be flung out into space. Okay.
Yep. Exactly. You're not there's not a depressurization that you're going to worry about. All right. So, Octavia, you're thinking about your history of this, and Icarus seems to be muttering, and he had said something about the soul is burning. Aquare. Do you make anything of that, or?
That's not good.
Maybe it's good news.
No. We just get on with it.
Okay. So then the door shuts, the thing pressurizes, and you guys are able to deploy. It sounds like you've got Octavia with her sensor. You don't need to be at the front. You could be, as you described, surrounded by troops as you're making way down these corridors. I believe I have an illustration here as well. Let me just add a page. And let's see. Oh, yeah. This is very welcoming. And I think I screwed up, and I got to go in and change the settings on this, because I'm fairly certain that every one of these new pages ends up defaulting to having dynamic lighting. And we have yet to use an actual map in this campaign. So it is completely unnecessary for me to do that.
Yeah.
And yep, dynamic lighting is on, so I'll go and fix that. Okay. And I'm on the right layer. We got our heroes. We have our armsmen. Where are they? Nope, not armsmen.
I've actually found it interesting how all of our 40K games we've played, we haven't really used any combat maps.
For the Righteous Path, you guys did, and the orc fight. Yeah, I for some of them, it depends on the system. For some of them, it just felt. I think clearly that was a memorable thing. If you can't, you forgot that it was there, but it also speaks to how many games you play too. Yeah,
that's right. Because we were using the one where we were using the grenades.
Yeah, because I think that one from the GM side of the screen, it felt like that one. You guys seem to be making some interesting decisions and tactical kind of plays by maneuvering your way through that place.
Right.
So I think that added something. It also, I mean, the combat servitors definitely lended an element of decision making on that. Turns out heavy bolters don't make for, you know, successful squads.
Right.
Let me bring you over here, guys. So, I think you can ignore the wooden planks in the foreground. It's probably not that ramshackle, but the recessed lighting, the sort of still built together, and the massive support beams that are in here, I think all speaks to a accurate description or actually accurate view of what the inside of this thing might be like. In fact, it actually may be fairly ramshackle. Just it probably is some kind of you know, plastic or other, you know, artificial substance as opposed to boards that are kicking around. If you have access to trees and wood, it's very unlikely you're using it for something as prosaic as you know, cast off construction material. Noros, where are you?
Well, like I said, right near the front.
Okay, so you're right near the front with everybody else. Octavia is shortly behind with the Auspex sensor, and then Icarus, are you kind of in the middle near where Octavia is? Oh, you are muted, though. So we are toasting Mo. So to Mo.
I will be near Lady Aquade.
Okay. So you're moving your way along. Your sensors out. Your senses out. Noros, would you kindly give us a awareness hearing check at easy, please?
Okay. Would hearing be a specialty that I'd have?
Hearing would be a specialty if you have it, yeah. Okay. If not, it's just awareness.
Yeah.
It might be called hear as well, not hearing, but...
Sorry, what did you say the challenge was?
Awareness at easy.
Easy, okay. Ooh.
I was a 98. You want to fate point that?
Spin a fate point.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We have 5 minutes left in the game, but...
Yeah, that was a terrible roll.
Did I mention that there is a tyrannid subspecies called a fang dragon? No. Excellent. Okay, so you're making your way along. You're checking, you know, that the team is all in. I assume you got your Vox Bud in as well. You're getting near the end of one of these corridors and following sort of your servitor is probably drifting along with you and telling you, like, left. Mm-hmm. It is a backseat assault servitor, I guess.
Yeah.
So it when you get to this point, you're coming up to a point where you know there's going to be a vertical shaft that you'll need to go down and then go over. But as you're approaching this thing, you can hear the sound of a voice. And it is speaking the, gosh, it's not Galanglic. Imperial Standard? Is that the language?
But low or high Gothic, right?
Oh, right, of course. It'll be in Low Gothic. And what you're hearing is a voice calling out for help. It sounds quite far off from where you are. And as you get closer to the shaft, it seems to be coming from somewhere near the bottom. And Icarus, would you give us a Psyniscience, awareness Psyniscience check, please, at, I think it'll be easy.
And let's, does my active psychic power help that? Is that
the active psychic power is a limited range of medium, though, so.
Only medium. Got it. Okay. All right. The difficulty, sorry, I already forgot.
Easy.
Easy. All right. There we go.
You know, guys, I started the session assuming you were hanging on my every word. I'm beginning to have my doubts now.
He just didn't believe you said anything was going to be easy. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is something wrong with these things? Did you
Wait, what? What?
So as you're moving along, Noros, here's the sort of the two people who first get this. So Noros, you can picture is going along. What weapon do you have in your hand?
The last gun.
Okay, las gun up and train forward. You hear those voices, and at almost the same time, Icarus, you're walking along, and the taint of the warp is beneath you. Somewhere down below, there is a weakening of the barriers between this universe and the Imperium. It's the fact that your mind is so open to sense things right now is perhaps why you've quite so clearly read this. So you both have sort of had these sensory revelations at the exact same time. And I will look forward to hearing what you're going to do with those in 2 weeks' time. So, do you remember offhand how much XP I'm awarding?
100 last time.
100.
Or 100 when I was here.
Yeah, okay, so 100 each time. So you guys each get 100 XP once again. So feel free to spend that. And for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our war story, Lonely as the Hunter, played with Imperium Maledictum. Also interspersed with a bunch of digressions about 40K lore. So it's one of those settings where I was talking before we were all talking before we went going, and like two sessions that I really nerd out on or settings that I really, really love playing in are the Hyborian world for Conan and this one. It's just really fun being in this, you know. I mean, not fun for the people who are the inhabitants. It is enjoyable to play in this world. So apologies for the digressions from our story. But we'll be back let's see, first off, as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There is also a link down below in the description of this video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and we have a channel there dedicated to the Warhammer games in general, both 40K and fantasy and Age of Sigmar. And you are more than, in addition to that, we have channels dedicated to most of the games we run on the channel, as well as a ton of other great channels like Finding a Group or GM Discussion or just general bullshitting about conventions or virtual tabletops. There's a terrific community over there of helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly people, and you are more than welcome to join us over there. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have in their extensive catalog something in stock, you can put it on a want list and they will send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight. All caps, all one word. It's also in the description of the video, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. And that'll change at the end of June 2024. So if you're listening to this at a different later date, come back to one of our more recent videos and we'll have the current discount code there updated. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And you can learn all about their activities by following that link down below. And any donations through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. There is also a link down below. I'm back on a loop here, guys. As a small way of saying thank you to the donors who have donated through there. If you have donated $25 or more since January 1st, 2024, head on over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server near the end of July, and we'll be sharing information for how the donors can vote on the final charity sessions of the year. What I'm planning on doing is trying to give pairings of unconventional matchups. So we'll be pairing classic adventures, so classic D&D or Call of Cthulhu or other, RPG classic adventures paired up with unconventional RPGs. So we have run before different things like mashing up Call of Cthulhu Adventure with the Green Lantern Corps, or mashing up the Barrow Maze with Starfinder. That'll be the same type of thing. We'll be asking the donors to vote on what mashup we're going with, what kind of heroes we'll be playing, and some other elements to make for a hopefully memorable and fun charity session to wrap up a couple of charity sessions to wrap up our year. The last thing I will say tonight is an enormous thank you to our stalwart explorers, agents in this game, I believe. So James, Jeffrey, and Sean, thank you so much for playing. Great to have a full party of 3 tonight too. So that was great. We will be back in the bowels of the macro statue. That's right, we're going to be back in the macro statue for one more time for further explorations of the macro statue in 2 weeks' time. And until we see you again, for those listening at home, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.